Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear from our host, Andy Albright.
Thank you, guys. Hey, okay. So the first question, Terry, Brandon, Marcus. So I am looking at you three, but I'm also looking past and I see my recruiters and my team. And so I'm going to them. You should be doing to your guys. Okay. You should be saying this. So the people that we talked to the last 3 days and last week, did we get messages to them? And if one of y'all says, you see this rock, somebody says, we posted it on WhatsApp, I'm going to hit you right between the eyes of the rock. Or if you say, oh, it's on social media. No, the person that you have a relationship with, like, for example, Robin from Nashville, does he know about this show? Yeah, they're saying yes, Marcus Richardson. What they mean is, I don't know. IDK. You with me? Text him right now. He's stoked out of his mind. So follow up with him and everybody else and start messaging them and say, are you on? And then if they say, am I on what? That means that you didn't, y'all hear me? Y'all doing this? I was told not to be on my phone when I was in meetings. I don't know who told you that. You can be on the phone in my meetings. God knows. If I had a phone, I got through college a whole lot better. Bored out of my mind sitting there listening. I'd have been texting like crazy. All right. I hope you're jumping on this video right here with these 3 superstars that I'm going to be interviewing, period. You will be triple stoked by the time it's over with. Okay, so I promised today that we were going to lower the denominator, that we were going to show you where anybody can win at this game. Now, I'm not calling these 3 people anybody's, but they're somebody. But they'll tell you they just get up in the morning and they got bad breath and brush teethies and they just do what everybody else does. But there are some things that they do, or, hey, listen to me, that don't do. Like a lot of people that are unsuccessful, it's stuff they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. In other words, what they go like, well, the reason I'm not successful is because I'm not doing this. No, you're doing, that could be the problem. So it could be things you're not doing, or it could be things you're doing. So there's things you're not supposed to be doing. Stop doing them. There's things you're supposed to be doing. So it can go either way. So these 3 gentlemen are at various points in their business. I'm going to let them talk a little bit about where they are in a business, how around and background. And hopefully you'll get some things that you can relate to from each of them. Now, let's say you're Mike Leventovich or Noel Leventovich, and you're making $1 million, $1.25 million, $1.5 million, whatever they're making, and they're watching this. Their job is still like to look, can I improve in one aspect of my life? If you're brand new with us, hopefully you'll get 12 things that you can prove in your life. Hey, were y'all on that call? I was interviewing a guy. He wouldn't shut up asking questions. He's trying to tell me how compensation works, trying to tell me what the carriers pay me. And I told him, I said, listen. First of all, he said, I'm not trying to waste your time. And I said, dude, I know where the red button is. I go where my phone is. I said, I know. I had a phone right here. I said, I know where the red button is. I will tap the red button and you will go away. You're not wasting my time. When I decide you're wasting my time, I'm going to tap red button. And after about 6 or 7 more dumb questions, he would say, ain't no such thing as a dumb questions. The jerk was asking dumb questions. And he was wrong about half the time, which is even worse. I told him, I said, I'm getting ready to hang up on the phone with you. He said, well, I don't want to waste time. So you ain't waste time because I'm getting ready to hang up on you right now. Let's part ways. and then call me back 90 days. Tell me about your circumstance. So here's my point. It's copy what Terry Edwards is doing. Copy what Marcus Richardson's doing. Copy what Manley's doing. Not tell me what Manley. I didn't hire you to be a critic. You're not a critic. You're a copier. You got to at least be good as Manley, at least be good as Terry, and then start talking some trash. But if you ain't there, so you got a Mike Leventovich who's just killing it, looking down, going like, I can improve in this area, or you're brand new to figure out how you can copy and do what these guys are doing. And we want to make it as basic and as clear as day as far as what you need to know how to do. And that's what I was trying to tell this kid, 23-year-old kid, and he don't listen to me. Well, it's a life decision. I saw this this young lady, I want to say she went to NC State and she was in textiles, but I'm not sure that that's true. There's a product called Spanx. Ladies, y'all heard of that? I mean, y'all heard of Spanx? Spanx. Yeah. Well, the girl who's wealthy now, her daddy would tell them, what did you fail at today? So they go to school and he come home and he'd say, what'd you fail at? And they'd be like, he says, how about failing at? And she said, if she come home one day, she's like, Daddy, I tried out for this thing and I was terrible. He said, you was terrible? She said, yeah. He said, high five. Trying was valued more than making this analytical decision at 23 years old. Here's what this kid was telling me. Like, bro, go mess up. What if he went in business with me and I got him to make 6 figures next year and $250,000 next year and $1 million the third year versus him trying to evaluate and then tick me off? I ain't got time to listen to all that. Fail, 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 fail. Okay. But you're failing, but you're trying to copy. Try to copy Terry, look like an idiot. Try to copy and be funny like Brandon Manley, look like a dum-dum. Try. You got to try to get there. All right. Let's start. Speaking of that, let's start with the youngest. Let's start with Brandon. So I like Brandon for a lot of different reasons. One is he's a great recruiter. He's a lot of fun, and he don't mind drinking red juice. I like that about him. And he talked my daughter into marrying him. I thought that's pretty good talking right there. He's very successful in the business. He's been selling insurance and recruiting and training and the whole concept. So, Brandon, I think it's fair that you talk a little bit about where you come from. Like, okay, yeah, you married my daughter, but how did you get involved in the business? Give them 5-6 minutes so they have an idea who you are, where you come from, and you got a dog and all that stuff.
So, my name is Brandon Manley. I'm from North Carolina. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. I grew up, went to Laney. I always tell people that because they know it for Jordan. One day, maybe they'll know it for me. But anyhow, so I grew up in a pretty, average family. I don't ever mean to make it seem like I grew up in a poor family. I definitely didn't. My parents worked hard to give us what they could, and they taught me a lot. Like my dad taught me a lot about work. And, I was fortunate enough to graduate from high school and go on to college. And I went to NC State University, and we just whooped up on Carolina. How about that? Yep, that's for the Everetts. So we, I went there. I started actually, funny enough, I don't even know. I think you know this, Andy. Started in textiles because that's where they said all the girls were, which was true. They were just in the fashion classes, and I was in these technology and engineering classes. They weren't as good over there. So I started that, and then I ended up transferring into political science, which I had no intention of doing anything with politics. I just needed to graduate. And while I was in college, I started working. I needed some money. And so I started doing a recruiting job. I started recruiting IT people. And I always think it's funny when people think that gives me a leg up in this business, because we don't have many IT people working in this business. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that at all. But here's what I will say on that is IT people like talking to computers. They don't like talking to humans. We like talking to humans. So it's a completely different field over here, but it gave me a heck of a jump start. And that allowed me to have a little bit of money in college, because when I met Haley my senior year, I had some money to take her out on dates and stuff like that. And I think she liked that. And I was a senior, so she knew I was about to graduate. She knew I was about to get a job. And so like I was fortunate that I did take that job in college, because it lined it up. So all my buddies that had graduated with engineering degrees, they were having a tough time getting a job. And here I am with like 6 job offers. And so I chose to go with a technical recruiting staffing firm here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I started doing really well over there. Me and Haley at that time, I mean, we were dating like a year. You know, I will say, like, one of the things that Andy did, I don't know if it was Andy or Haley, but they started getting me around the business. And Andy knew I was doing okay. He always called it my training, which bothered me a little bit at the time, because I thought I was doing really well. I mean, after 2 years, I was making pretty significant money, more than my parents did collectively. So I mean, for training, that was some decent pay. And so you know, Haley kept getting me around the business. She was like, "We need to go to your dad's event, or we need to go to my dad's event." And at that time, I'll be 100% transparent. Some of you are thinking this in the January meeting. You're thinking like, "Oh, we go into some insurance thing. I don't want to go to that." That's how I was. And then I came to it and I saw how much fun it was. And I know it sounds so crazy to say that it's fun, but just trust me, come January 26th to the 28th and you'll get the feel. So then the next one rolls around, because at that time we only had 2. Now we get the luxury of having 4. At that time we only had 2. The next one coming up was National Convention. And I was asking Haley when that was. Because I loved everything about it. It was so much excitement, so many people liking each other, which was odd for me, because at my job, you walk around at a convention, everybody's like a dead corpse walking around. They did not want to be there. And then you come here and all these people want to be there and they want to give you their secret. It was odd to me, but I liked it. And so in 2018, Christmas time, I was talking to Andy, and Andy had shown me the business. So I had dabbled. So if you're dabbling with this business, that's who I was. In 2015, 16, and 17, and 18. And I was dabbling. And in 2018, I got a management promotion, which actually was a demotion. If you've ever been in corporate America, you may know what I'm talking about. And so I ended up talking with Andy at Christmas, and I told him kind of my hesitations with my current job. Point blank, I didn't think that I needed to be there. Like, I thought my job was irrelevant in a way. And so I started talking with him about it, started venting a little bit. And then he kind of moved in at that point and said, "Well, Bo, I know how to build a team. I know how to sell insurance. I can teach you how to do both of those. You can come build a business with me." So in 2019, strategically after I got my bonus from that job, I left that job and I came and I joined the Alliance, and we've been going strong. So October was officially 4 full years in the business. And I've had a lot of, I mean, it's crazy to think that the insurance, like, I just think, like, you say I have success in this industry, Andy, and then I look around in the industry and you realize how small of a fish you are. You know what I mean? So like, for me, that doesn't hurt my feelings. It makes me excited for the future. And I know I don't do everything perfectly. So I'm not going to speak like I do. I'm still learning every day. And luckily I've got people surrounding me that I can reach out to, like the 3 others on this call, that give me direction on stuff like that. So I don't feel alone. I feel like I'm going to have problems. I know I'm going to have problems, but there's been people that have been down this path before and they can give me solid advice. And so that's what's most exciting for me about this opportunity is I'm tiny, man. I'm like a small fish in a big pond, and I just see so much room for growth. And the crazy thing is if you're thinking, why do they give you their secrets? It's because there's too much pie. Like, when we say we don't have enough agents, that's true. Like, we need more. And so, yeah, I enjoy what I do. Me and Haley, we live in Raleigh, North Carolina. We just have a beautiful brand new house here in Raleigh. We moved back from Florida, went down there for a couple years with Andy, and we got a doggy. That's all we got for now, which Andy's not thrilled about. But I'm working on it. I ain't the goalie. I keep telling him that. So that's
I ain't
that.
complaining, bro. I ain't complaining. As y'all reading something and what I ain't saying nothing. Hey, congratulations. I was talking to Brandon. I was actually recruiting a guy, and I was saying, yeah, my son-in-law is right in front of me. He's making 25,000 a month. And he went, I was like, what? He's like, try 45. I said, ooh, I like that, being corrected. And that kind of money, 35 to 45 or 50,000 a month. Yeah. That'll keep Haley fired up. And I mean, I see nothing but up from here. What I want you to think about, Brandon, is it's like maybe some kind of thinking you had before, just based on friends, based on television, thinking. And then now a thinking that's changed. I'm gonna give you time to think about it and come back to you. But like, what did you think before? And then you're like, yeah, that thinking wasn't not going to lead me correctly. Because I'm curious to that. And I'm sure you've told me about textile school before. And for those of you that don't know, I graduated textile school with textile engineering at NC State. And so he was in textiles originally, but got out of it. I stuck with it, not because I cared about it. It's just, I didn't want to go through the trouble of filling out the paperwork or whatever you do. It's like, I don't care. I didn't want a degree anyway. I just wanted to, get my sticker, put it on the wall. So Terry, think about it, man. I got this one, my son-in-law. Your kids ain't none of them married. Ain't none of them in college yet. You got to tell them a little about your family life, man, and education, so people know where Terry and Tia Edwards coming from.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for having me on the call, man. I'm super, super excited. Terry Edwards, from a little small town called Conway, North Carolina. You can Google that. The population today is 750 whole souls. That's right. We ain't got no fast food restaurants, but Chick-fil-A come once every other week, bring a little truck to town, park by the railroad tracks, and sell chicken sandwiches till they walk out, till they sell out. But coming from very small town, like Brandon, parents taught me the value of hard work and serving. I saw people that got up every day. My mom worked at a chicken plant called Purdue Chicken. She was a deboner. What's a deboner? She have a chain glove on one hand, a butcher knife in the other hand, and she would dip her hands in that ice, pour that chicken out, and cut that bone out that chicken, throw that chicken breast over her back, put it on the conveyor belt, go down and make some chicken tenders. Now that's hard work right there. 8 hours a day. I think they used to have to do something like 6 breasts a minute. That was their standard, 6 breaths per minute. So you rolling, bro. Can you imagine doing that 8 hours a day? So when I was in college, I couldn't find a job. So my mama said, well, go down there to the plant. They'll hire you for the summer. So I went down there to Purdue. I was in college at Elizabeth City State, needed a little extra money. So I went down there to Purdue. They put me in the 28-degree cooler. So my job was to pack whole birds all day. So I got to work at 8 o'clock, had my little gloves on. By 10 o'clock, my 10 o'clock break, I was in the locker room crying. This old man named Bull came in the locker room. He said, boys, y'all see that college boy over there? He ain't gonna make it. They ain't building them like they used to. So anyway, man, those are just some of the funny things that I remember. But like the thing I learned was hard work, the value of what getting up and doing something. And it really wasn't that they were doing a job that they wanted to do. They were doing a job to take care of their responsibilities, which was their family. So I got me, but my mom always knew that I wasn't going to be no factory worker. You know what I mean? She was like, them hands are made for something like surgery. I said, you right, mama. But I ended up getting a business degree from Elizabeth City State, started working in the credit union world, and fell in love with helping people with their finances. So worked my way up from a teller all the way up to executive vice president of a credit union. Tia was a social worker, but we found out very early on, man, like working a job wasn't going to get us financially free. We was living check to check, bro. It was just like some weeks it get to the end of the week, and I was working in the credit union. I figured it out. If you go to the gas station, you put your debit card in there, it ain't gonna take but $1 out, but you could get you a $50 tank of gas, and you'll worry about the negative when the check comes through. So that was kind of like, robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then we started like, look, this got to change. So we started side hustle. We got us a janitorial business. So we'll work our jobs during the day, clean at night. And then we started doing network marketing. I met a kid, he was 28 years old, making $28,000 a month. And he was just networking. I was like, wait a minute. You do what now? How much is it get in? So we got in that, didn't have his success. But we developed the dream, and we also learned about reading books. And so anyway, I kept my day job. Tia came off her job, and then we started a family. And in 2015, I got what I thought was my dream job, man. I was named CEO of a credit union down in Atlanta. So we moved down to Atlanta. We had 3 kids in elementary school. She was 7 months pregnant with number 4. And we moved down to Atlanta. And for whatever reason, there was some commotion on the board. And they sent me an email 2 weeks after my start date talking about, whatever confusion there's about your job, this serves as your termination notice. So I did what any other college educated person do. I got on Craigslist looking for day work, man, because I remember my mom and them, they did what they had to do to feed the family. So I got on Craigslist. I was like, what can I find? Until I could find me another job. And I saw an ad that Jason Mathis posted that said, too many leads, not enough agents. And I saw that Mutual of Omaha logo. So me and Jason talked and introduced me to the Alliance. And we got started, man. And we just wanted to, first of all, take care of my family. But secondly, man, just put myself in a position where I don't put my career and my livelihood in the hands of another man again or another corporation again. I was over it. I was sick and tired of it. So that's kind of our story. Right now, we got 4 kids, man. We got 2 juniors, Elijah and Anaya. They're killing it. Elijah just got named all-conference defensive back for our conference here in 4A football. So he's kicking butt, taking names. Anaya is cheering. Isaiah, another, he's a sophomore, got moved up to varsity, starting defensive line now. And boss baby Taylor, she's 8 years old. And Tia's going to see Usher today. And I'm playing daddy, business, everything. So I hope I don't forget to go pick Taylor up from school today. Dude, that's gonna be a situation. But anyway, man, so that's kind of who we are. And the thing about it, Andy, is this right here. When I came here, I wanted to contribute. It wasn't what could the Alliance do for me. It was like, what could I do for the Alliance? How can I bring Terry Edwards and help expand the influence of what we're doing? Even though I ain't have 2 nickels to rub together, or my granddaddy would say it this way, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but I felt like I could bring something to the table. And I wanted to win. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to win. I wanted to win in selling. I wanted to win in recruiting, and I wanted to win in building. So, and that's one of the things that is kind of hard to train and put in people is give a damn. You got to want to give a damn. You want to give a darn about the name on the front of the jersey and the name on the back of the jersey. If I ain't come from a trust fund, but my kids gonna have one.
Hey, time out, Terry. I will make an announcement. This is a piece of that advice right there. He done snuck a bunch of them in there. Don't slow down on this. We looking for people to give a damn. Is that what you said, Terry?
Yeah, give a damn.
Jump back on it. Jump on it.
So care. You got to want to care. You got to care about, first of all, yourself. At the end of the road, when you land in that box, what is people gonna say about you? People ain't gonna talk about your intentions. They ain't gonna talk about your heart. What's gonna be outlined in that obituary is your resume of what you did. So you got to care about somebody. What is somebody gonna say about you? I know there are a lot of people concerned about what other people think about them, but I'm going to care about what they're gonna say about. What did that dash mean between my born day and my death day? What did that dash mean? What about this one right here? Stephen Davis told me this when I first got started. You got to want to give a damn to get around people that's thinking on a higher vibration than you do. Stephen Davis told me this way: every sacrifice that you ain't willing to take, or every punch that you ain't willing to take, That's going to be a punch that your kid's going to have to take. I don't want my kids getting beat up. So I'd rather scratch and claw and advance it just a little bit further so their starting point is a lot further along than my starting point. Does that make sense? Oh, you got to want to give a darn about your team. Give people an example and an opportunity. Give people an example and an opportunity. You want me to teach you how to do this business? Come watch me work. I'm going to show you how to book 10 appointments before 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to show you how to write 20,000 consistently every single month. Not what I think, but what I'm doing. I'm going to show you how you can sell, recruit, and build. I'm going to show you how you can be a good dad, a good businessman. I can show you how to have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. You got to want to care. You got to want to care about not just your team, but hey, what can we do in this industry? What can we do in this industry? I want to change the face of what financial services look like. I want to fight for something way more bigger than what I can have. What about that legacy coming behind it? So that you got to want to care about all that, because the care is what gives the grind meaning.
Terry, I'm sitting here thinking this is a talk that the kids get in a halftime or before a game. You ever just think about it and just start telling your kids stuff like this? Just start talking to them just out of the blue. Like, ain't no reason. You just start telling them stuff like this.
I'll call an impromptu meeting in a moment, because I look at what's happening out here in this world, Andy. Literally 2 miles down the street from my house, just on night before last, a dad killed his 2 children and committed suicide and turned around and killed himself 2 miles down the road from my house. The daughters used to come to Culver's restaurant where my daughter worked once a week, and that girl is dead. So I'll call them to the side in a New York minute. I don't care if they want to hear it. I don't care if I think that's falling on deaf ears. But one thing they ain't gonna be able to say is my old man didn't care, and he didn't take time to at least try to tell me. I tell them what it's gonna be like. You ready to leave this house? This is what it's gonna be like. I talked to my boy before this season came. You want to be great? We got to have the statistics, not the post. We need the statistics to back up your greatness. So that joker went out this year, his junior year, and led the team in tackles. Now that's a statistic. And I'm seeing now kids jumping in the transfer portal and they ain't got no statistics. Who can recruit?
You done hit me with the cold chills right there.
Hey, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. You can say what you want to say about a lot of things, but numbers don't lie, baby. That's the thing I love about this business. It's the emotional intelligence of knowing the numbers. Anybody can win here.
Statistics, baby. Don't tell me what you want to do, what you plan to do. Oh, why you think this girl's so good? Because she wants it bad. Because she wants to do this business. She needs it because she ain't got nothing. What's her statistics, Terry?
That's it.
You made me text this player. I saw him last night. He's playing. He's been I don't know. I think he's been in a doghouse because they ain't put him in the game. Well, last night they put him in the game. It's late game out West Coast, and he had some good plays. They got the ever-living hell beat out of him, but he put up some statistics.
That's right. I got
give me a rebound, foul somebody. If you foul somebody, Terry, I need to see a bruise. I don't need one impartial fouls.
Hey, my daughter used to play basketball. She was trying to figure out her way, and she was playing basketball in middle school, and she was very aggressive on defense. I said, Naya, listen, baby, you got 5 fouls. When you get in the game, use them all. Don't bring none to the bench. Foul out. I don't care if you ain't there but a minute. Let them know that you was there. See, it's all about trying. It ain't about the result. It's about trying. It's about giving a darn to try. 50 Cent wrote an album said, "Get rich or die trying." I might not get where I want to get, Andy, but when I'm in that box, they're gonna say he gave a damn and he tried.
Hey, listen, while you're here, Terry, I'm gonna call out to somebody on Terry's team. Terry needs somebody on his team to step up, be a superstar. Terry needs somebody to start traveling the United States of America like he ain't got nothing to lose. Terry needs somebody to start booking 10 appointments before 10 a.m. Terry needs them. Terry, you got a lot of people with the potential. You got a lot of them with potential. I can start saying some first names. One of them starts with a J, one of them stands with an N, another one stands with an M, and I got a K, and I got an L. They out there. But what we need statistics. Potential is not a statistics. Last time I checked the record book.
Can't quantify it.
I can't quantify. Didn't hit me with a big word. Brandon, you give it some thought.
Yeah.
Before we go to Marcus, hit us with some young man wisdoms.
There's a little different question than you asked Terry that you asked me, but I think your question to me was, what is like my mindset shift, like my friends, like what do they think, stuff like that, right? I mean, like when I think about when you ask me that question, I immediately go to they don't know what they don't know, you know. So because here's the thing, like I didn't know that this stuff existed. Like I thought that I didn't. I mean, I know Terry just said that he saw this guy and he's like, "What are you doing? How much you making?" I didn't have those people come to me. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't special enough. I don't. But you know,
wait. You didn't know that a world existed where you could make this kind of money and have this kind of freedom. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, unless you started like I thought that the world worked. You can either start a company or you can go work for somebody and then they pay you a salary. Like that's about it. I didn't know there was this independent thing. I didn't know that you could build out your own agency. I didn't know anything about the insurance world. I mean, I started to once I got around y'all, because y'all let everybody know, you know, that's what we do. That's why we let everybody know. But I didn't know. So but I think back to how small I did think, you know, when I hear Terry talking about, I didn't grow up with a trust fund, but my kids will. Like that kind of stuff for most people, like people on this call are probably thinking like, that's not going to happen to me. But it comes back to what y'all are talking about. If you're willing to put in the work, like there's this stuff all over, you know, social media and stuff. You see all these business mindsets and stuff like that. And, you know, there's always one that pops up and it goes, easy now equals hard later. Hard now equals easy later. And so I think to that type of stuff. And Haley's very good at this. Like, you know, I always mess with it because I don't mess with her, but I just think sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Maybe she was old enough to know what it was like before the Albright dynasty. You know what I mean? I don't know. What is that? Oh, I'm in. I like that word. Those two words. But like I see it, but she always reminds me, and she does this with some of my team, and she always talks about like especially if I have a lady in my organization, and maybe I don't want to say hold. Yeah, let's say she's got a little bit of a hold on her husband, right? I ain't saying he's whipped or nothing, but you know, I can read between lines. And so
you better watch yourself.
But what she always does is she's good at getting with the wife and explaining to them like, okay, if y'all sacrifice now, what does that look like later? Like Terry just said, sacrifice. So like I'm thinking, and you say this a lot, Andy. I don't know that this gets enough recognition or how important it actually is that you talk about this. But you always say something. You always say, "I'm going to die. I'm going to die," and that's what Terry's saying. I'm going to die. Like I want people to remember me the way I want them to remember me. Right? I want them to say things about me the way that I want, and I think all you can control is now. So I think for me that's been the biggest mindset shift. Is like I can accomplish what you've accomplished. Like so can Terry, so can Mark, so can the other thousands of agents that we have out there. It's just, are we willing to put in the time, the effort, the sacrifice that you've put in over the last 23 years? And you know, I mean, I came, some of you guys know, but my last year in corporate America, I made $160,000. And I don't say that to brag, but I tell you that to let you know that there's some people that aren't actively looking, but they're not satisfied. And, you know, that's who I think we're at. I think we're really looking for those type of people if we get down to it. Like, we want the people that give a damn. And like Andy says, we want the greedy, not the needy. Right? Like, he always says that, but I think to a point, like that's kind of who I'm looking for, is those out there that aren't satisfied. And if we can bring them into this world and show them how much of how much bigger their life could be, how many more people they could influence, how much would that change them? And if they don't give a damn, here's what they want. They want to go to work at 9 o'clock. They want to get off at 5 o'clock. I had one of my recent employees. He did not like that I said, if you're working for somebody else, you're building somebody else's business. Because he's like, that's a direct reflection on me. I'm like, you're damn right. You're the one that took the job, right? You can be an agent too. So, but those that don't want it, they're going to take that job 9 to 5. When they close out on Friday, they don't think about it again until Sunday night when they're dreading going in. That's not the people that give a damn, as Terry would say, right? I don't think so. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there, I think, that do think small, but they're not satisfied with what they got. So how can we be better bringing them to the light, you know? Like, let's bring them to the light. I don't know. That's kind of my biggest mindset shift is how, like, think back to how that $160,000, I felt like a king, you know what I mean? And I know money ain't everything, but damn, it makes things a lot more enjoyable to have money. I mean, your wife's typically happier with you. Typically, I say typically. But it just gives you the freedom. Like, I can't, like, when you think back to all the things, like, I see pictures now of like what y'all did, because I wasn't around all the time. But I see pictures of the life that Haley and Spencer got to enjoy growing up, and how money was never a factor, and how, like, although that wasn't the most important thing, I'm sure it was the time that you got to spend with them and the cool things that you got to do with them. But it's got to, I mean, I know people that sit in Costco line for 30 minutes waiting for gas to save 20 cents. Like, that's what I'm talking. That's the small mindset, right? Like, I ain't picking on you if that's what you do, because I know somebody's really close to me does that. But it's the fact that I don't want to have to worry about that. And I want to, like, y'all see me. I know the stigma, right? I know who I am. I know I'm Albright's son-in-law and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, like, this world has opened it up to me to where I don't want to live off of Andy's coattails. I want to contribute. I want to absolutely maximize the funds that he's leaving behind, so that we can have generation after generation after generation after generation of wealth, and we don't have to ever go back, you know? And that's the scary part. And, you know, not the scary part, but that's what keeps you motivated to a certain point. I just got a text from that person saying you're an ass. So, about the gas. So, I'm sorry. It's point taken.
But my thing is this right here, if I can add to that. It's okay to have that thinking of, I'm going to save that money. But when you get exposed to better and you know better, you cannot just ignore it and say, well, this is just how I am. No. God sent Brandon into your life to help expand your thinking. And when you start thinking like a winner, you're going to start being a winner. I remember, Albright, that first trip to Banff, Canada. You took us to your room in that castle, and we got off an elevator, and we had to go to another elevator. And I was like, wait a minute. I seen movies. You know, we the first ones to die. Where we going? But what I remember was this, walking into that suite and seeing a baby grand piano in the middle of the suite with people walking around serving grapes and wine. And you showing me the bathroom views. And I said, Andy, how did you know that this life was possible? You said, Bo, I just got around people. I started reading books. I started looking at the Rod Report. So when you get in this culture and this environment, and we start opening your mind to something bigger, the average person is going to say, I don't want to go through all that to get that. It's easier to stay where I am. But there's a certain few of us that's been waiting for that opportunity to be the change in your family's legacy that's going to change the game. And this opportunity right here does it. This opportunity right here, it don't matter if you got a PhD, a GED, or a freaking player hater degree. If you are willing to put in the work, not just the do, but the work on your mindset and the work on your heart, and that abundance is available to all of us. It's not a dangling carrot. Like, man, I remember, Albright, going to your house and seeing that pool in the backyard and listening to James tell Tia, you want to have a pool when your kids become teenagers, so your house is a hangout house. I couldn't afford a pool right now. I could afford one of them little inflatables, you can sit in and just get your butt wet in it. But guess what? It gave me a vision of what could be, and look what is. And we ain't done yet. Like this abundance that you guys are opening our world, like it is truly a godsend. But you can't fight it. And that's what so many people are doing. They are fighting to keep average when excellence is our core value.
All right, Terry. So I'm tell you this, y'all them kids, you know how sometimes I hear you.
I got you.
I got you. All right, that's your children. Well, that's you listening to son-in-law right there. That he says that sometimes. He'll say, I hear you. I'm telling you, Terry, they are listening. Spencer spent 2 hours in here with me yesterday, and he just said a couple words, and I went, yeah, he heard it. So, Brandon, I tell you, your agents are hearing you, but you say it, and the younger you can get them, Brandon, the younger you can get them, then you got more time for them to hear it, because they might have to hear it for 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, 5 years before it starts coming out. Now, some of them got it because they was raised by Terry Edwards, or they was raised by your daddy, Brandon. He put a lot of good stuff already. A lot of stuff was in you already. I ain't taking credit. I'm taking credit for exposing you to this world of unlimited income. I'll take credit for that. But he put the hard work. He put the rub some dirt on it mentality. I know he's a big baseball fan. His dad was still playing softball, still playing adult softball when he died. He was still, he believed in it. He was big on that competition. But I'm just telling you, Terry, you just keep saying it to him over and over. And to be clear, guys, Terry has that kind of stupid, beautiful backyard now that he saw at my house. Now he's got that. And every time I see pictures of it, a tear comes to my eye. I got like, that's right. Got another one that'll fight for it.
I got to go get some land. I need a farm, Andy. I need a farm.
You do, Terry. And there's some good land around where you are, not too far, just outside the city limits. You can get you 100 acres, man. Don't do less than 100. You'll regret it. I'm just telling you the number. You need 100 acres. I mean, you got a good plot where you are. You got enough for a swimming pool, but you need about 100. And hey, listen, Marcus, I was interviewing a guy today, and I said, you remind me of another guy. He had 10 questions. Let me tell you the difference in Marcus and that guy. With Marcus, I looked down that list. I said, how about I answer that one? I answered the one. He said, all right, let's go. My other man, I answered the question. He answered no one. I answered the question. I answered no. I said, I had to hit the old red button. I ain't got time for that. This ain't no question answer game. I'm going to win the question game. I ain't losing the game. I hit the red button before he didn't ask me too many. I done heard enough of his questions. Some of them were stupid too. One or two of them might have been good in the beginning, but then it went downhill. Probably if I went down to your next questions, Marcus would have been dumb. That first one was a good one after that. But Marcus, tell them a little bit about you. You had some experience in the preaching world with your daddy, and he'd been putting the gospel on you, and married and got kids and a beautiful home. I don't even know much about what you did before you got into insurance. I know you was in insurance before us. I don't know if you ever got paid to preach or just got tips, but Marcus is in Denver, Colorado, very successful businessman. His business is growing like crazy. One of the top, I think he's top 3 salesperson in the country. Might be number 2, but he's way up there in the country. Big network, growing like crazy, is expanding. So tell us a little bit about where you come from, Mr. Marcus Richardson.
Yeah, first I want to say thank you, Andy, for having me on the call. And it's tough when I'm sitting here listening and I hear Brandon and I hear Terry, and their gift stirs up my gift. And I'm like, they killing it. And I honestly could just sit here and listen to Terry and Brandon do their thing. But I'm also on here to contribute. So I thank you for having us on, Andy. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this team. So background on Marcus and Carla, we actually, Lord willing, we will celebrate 20 years next month of married, doing life together. We have been together 23 years. Before Carla, I grew up, like Andy said, my dad's a pastor, his mom's a pastor, her mom was a pastor. So I come from a long line of preachers. And it's I tell people this all the time, you can grow up in the church, but not the church not be in you. Like, you know what I mean? And I was that typical PK, going through life and just dealing with things, and really learned how to compartmentalize my life and some of my emotions, which I have worked on. And Carla is, bless her heart, she's working on me and helping me become a softer version of Marcus, because as you go through life, you have experiences, and then those experiences begin to shape you. And so that's where I was when I met Andy, actually 12 years ago in October of 2011. We had, before this and before insurance, Andy, I worked in another place where I did sales. So I've been doing sales since I was 17. And when I was working there, I was doing hospitality stuff. So I was selling like furniture, drapes, carpet. Every time I go into a hotel, I can kind of tell you what kind of carpet it is, the drapes, if they're wall mount, that kind of stuff. Was top 3, top 4 in sales there as well. Did that for 4 years. But I was at this place in my life, which I'm sure a lot of people get to, where I felt like I really wasn't going to be able to do what God called me to do at an 8 to 5. And I felt like I needed more room or more space to be able to grow and be in control of my own time and my own income. And just in my quiet time, the way I heard it was like this is, in my quiet time, I heard him say, "Come follow me and I'll make you fishers of men." And for so long, I was like, what does that look like? And, when you grow up in a home where you see pastors, my dad's an awesome minister, but you see the Sunday, Wednesday thing, right? And I always felt like the call that God had on my life was bigger than just Sunday and Wednesday. I felt like it was not just because the mission stays the same, but the method can change. If that makes sense. Like, the mission is still to win people. The mission is still to impact people and make a difference in people's lives. And I believe this is the platform that God has given myself and my wife to be able to make that difference and make that impact. Because when you look at the life of Christ, the life of Jesus, and if you who are watching this, you're not that kind of person. Historically, it's documented he was here. Okay, so just follow me historically. So historically, when Jesus would show up, he wouldn't just automatically start preaching to people. He would meet them where they were. When they were hungry, he would feed them. When they needed healing, he would heal them. And when they needed help, he would help them. They would clothe them, right? And so that's what I see a lot of the alliances. When I came to this business, there was a thought that I heard. It said, this is that. This is the leadership, the direction that you're looking for in order to get you where I've called you to go to. But it met me where I was. So when I'm telling you that is when I met Andy, Carla and I were on food stamps and state assistance. And all because I said I wanted to live by faith and follow God. Now, faith is awesome. Don't get me wrong, because we need it, right? But faith don't pay the mortgage. Can I get an amen? Faith don't put faith don't put shoes on the kids. Faith, you know what I'm saying? And then my book says faith without works is dead. So oftentimes you can say you have faith, but I say, show me your works. And that's what I love about this, is because there's no limit to the work that we can put in. And Andy has really helped change the way I look at work and what work looks like in the capacity. And I was listening to what Terry was saying, and I truly believe this with all of my heart. Life and your growth is about the exposure that you have. If you're not exposed to the life of the private jets, if you're not exposed to the life of the suites on the ships and the people bringing you grapes, because where I come from, I'm from Aurora, Colorado. Like, we didn't have none of that. Where I'm from, lower middle class, I asked my dad about money. We never had those conversations, and it was just a negative conversation. So I didn't even know how money worked. The first year, listen to me, everybody. The first year I made over six figures, I had to file bankruptcy because no one ever taught me how to manage money. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was working here in the Alliance, selling like crazy, but I didn't know how to manage it. And so you're looking at someone who comes with a lot of scars, a lot of baggage. But one thing I did know is I said, I know how to work. When Andy showed me the leads, I said, I don't have a lot of money for leads, but I will work. I'll make the phone calls. I'll go see the people. I'll do 20, 30 appointments a week. I don't mind that problem. And so being able to shift now, the biggest thing I think is huge is your identity. Like, how do you see yourself? So often I've been a top producer, but now I want to be a top business owner, right? And I want to excel in those levels. But until you see yourself as a business owner, until you see yourself as a boss and a CEO, you won't operate on that level. And so I thank God for Andy because he's been helping shift my mindset from, yeah, you're just going to be the top in sales to let me show you what you should focus on in the business. And when you sent this call to me, Andy, it's funny because I've been reading some stuff and looking at things, and it said, you're not a business owner if you're still working in your business. Your business owns you. And then you sent, I'm not kidding, Andy, and then you sent this today for the call. And it's like, I think I'm a business owner, but honestly, if I left my business today, Carla wouldn't have much, Adria wouldn't have much, and Maya wouldn't have much because I'm the cog that makes it go. So what I want to learn is how to get to a place where no matter if Marcus is running day-to-day business, the business still functions. And so I appreciate that you take time out to teach me how to think like that. And some people have heard me say this, but that's one of the things I think I'm thankful for, Andy, is that you have been teaching me how to think. Because, you know, we go through school and it takes us 12 years. If you get a degree, you know, you got 16 years in, but a lot of time they're teaching you what to think, but they're not teaching you how to think as a business owner, how to think as a dad, how to think as a husband. Because honestly, if you're married, that's the hardest business to run. Let me just say that one more time. If you're married, you're raising a family, it's like a business, and you can learn to care about people in your family. And a lot of times, you know, my wife has gotten on me about this, but the real question, and I heard Terry say this, but I think this is so key. Do your words match your actions? Or do your actions match your words? Or another way I like to say it, I've been saying this lately. If I put your life on mute and I couldn't hear anything you were saying, would your life match what it is that you've been saying you want to do? So for example, Marcus, if I put your life on mute and you say you want to be a business owner, how many interviews are you doing? How many people are you training, right? Or if I put your life on mute and you say you love your wife, can I look by your actions at what you do for your wife that shows you love your wife? And so that's kind of what I've been on, Andy, is getting my mind changed to being able to not just have my words sound good, but I want my life to match what my words say. And I've noticed Terry said it, Brandon said it, but when you begin to number your days, I lost my mom at 50 years old. I'm 40, right? I pray the Lord gives me more. But if you just do the math and God gives me 10 more years, like that's not a lot of time. We got to get to work. We got to get up and go. Adriel's 15, Maya's 14. And I feel like just yesterday I was going to the hospital watching them be born. My wife and I met 16, 17 years old. Now she's about to turn 40. I'm 40. And it happened just like that. So just imagine what the next 20 years are going to look like and what do I want that to look like, and just really being intentional, Andy, about, okay, what do we want the next 20 years to look like? But what do we want in order for the next 20 years to be better than the previous 20? What am I going to do today? What am I going to do today as it pertains to my business, my marriage, my kids? Because your life, your kids, your business is really a reflection of you. And so if you looked at everything and we looked at your family portrait, what would that look like in your life? And so those are some things that I've been thinking about and really just been focused on. Okay, how do we make this shift? How do we continue to grow it? And I thank God that you've been on this journey with me for 12 years, just kind of walking out with me, because I tell people all the time, like, you didn't have to, Andy. And I am so appreciative of all that you have done and are doing for us and for the Alliance and just for this team, because you don't have to spend, hours on the phone with me throughout the weekday, laughing, cutting up, teaching me how to handle situations. We'll call it that, right? Like, and you don't have to do that, but I'm so grateful and so thankful that you do. So That's a little bit of background on us, and I'm just so fired up. You know, Terry and Brandon got me going, and so it's just incredible to see what we're doing here as a team and with the alliance. And the beautiful part is anybody can do it. Like, there's nothing special about me. There's nothing special about Terry, Brandon, or Andy. Like, we put our pants on just like you do. But one thing I do know is that we got some dogs who's willing to fight, and so you know we're in the fight. Come hell or high water, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. That's one of the things I'll never do is quit. I'm not a quitter because quitters don't win and winners don't quit. And so I was born to win.
Well, it's such funny, a contradiction, Marcus, because y'all saying y'all are nothing special. On the other hand, everything you guys are saying is special. It's a separator from so many people. Like the kid that's just so panicked on how the carriers pay me and if he's going to get his fair share. And it just, oh my God, what a nightmare dealing with somebody thinking like that. What I'm thinking is, I'm going to show you how to get rich. We're going to be friends. We'll have a good time, make money. What part of good time and making money don't you like? I want to, let me have this right here. So I want to give them some, they don't hear it. A lot of times they don't hear it come across as facts and figures when the way you're saying it, Terry, and the way you're saying it. So I want to try to get it to come across to you in a facts and figures. All right. If you don't know this and you can't repeat this, then you can't say you read this book. But this right here, if you'll review this, how to grab a heart. All right. So if you go in a house and they don't have any life insurance and you want to grab their heart, because let me tell you something, you get a person's heart committed, the checkbook's going to follow. If their heart's committed, the head's going to follow. If their heart ain't in it, they're going to bounce it. It's called a chargeback. You want people to show up on a no-show, you ain't got their heart in it. You get their heart in it, their whole body's coming. Heart stops, people die. Heart beats, people live. All the parts could be dead, but the heart, you'd be living. All right. So there's 3 different things that you want to do to create heart. Okay? I say 3. I'm going to give you 4. Motivation, excitement, enthusiasm. You got to read this. It's on page 178. When you're in a house and you tapping on a door, you tapping on a door like this right here, ain't no excitement in that. When you go up to the door and you hit it with your whole hand like that and make that thing go bam, the people that think it's the popo gonna run. The people that come to the door, they're the ones gonna write a check. Hit that door hard. Okay? Now, confidence. Confidence. Tapping at the door like this right here, do not exude no confidence. Scared that I'm going to burn you, scared that Marcus Richards going to burn you, scared that Terry Edwards going to tell you wrong. Don't be scared. That show no confidence. Terry, tell them youngins like what's for and tell them agents like what's for. Or as my referee says, give them down in the country. Confidence. You exude it. Some of them say faith it, some of them say fake it. But either way, the other team got to believe it. They either believe you're going to die for the Jesus, you're going to die for the name on the front of your jersey, or you faking like you're willing to die. But when that 175-pound cornerback comes as fast as he can and runs in that 265-pound running back, that ain't, I don't know how you call that fake. You say, well, he was scared to death and worried about the hit. But he hit him. He did it anyway. Confidence. Hit them like you mean it. And the next thing is emotion. And the next thing's cohesion. So I want you to go through these 4 things and then talk about how to put them together. This is how you build a team. I did recruiting and I did it live, and I'm showing people. I had a brand new person I recruited yesterday. He was watching me recruit today. He said, I want to know, how do I get those appointments set for me? I want that. Well, it costs money. I don't know if he got any money, but he got $15. We're going to set him up some interviews. If he ain't got no money, we're going to tell him how to sell like you, Marcus. We're going to show him how to sell like you, Brandon and Terry. That way, I have $200 or $300. You have $50,000 in the bank in no time, at least 10 grand in the bank. And I got confidence he can do that. People ask, how do you think it's 100% confidence people make 100 grand selling insurance? Because Brandon did, Terry did, Marcus did. They followed the dadgum instructions. So if you've read this book, but you can't tell me how to grab a heart, you might be doing it intuitively without thinking about it. But if you think through the process of how to get people, it's how you get a check, $100 a month check. It's how you get a person to buy a ticket to convention. We got a January 20, 25, 26, 27. Is that right? 26, January 26, 27, 28. You want to get people to do it? Go to this, how to get their heart. If you get their heart in it, they'll be in Las something, Dallas, Texas. Las Colinas. Motivation, the act or process of giving someone a reason to do something. You give them a reason to do something. The act or the process of motivating. The condition of being eager to act or work. Motivated, a force or influence that causes someone to do something. Getting a person to convention, getting a person to buy $500 worth of leads a week, getting them to commit to a GMR, getting them to travel to sell. There ain't no leads in my hometown. Day one, Terry, I went up to Danville, Virginia, and the man pulled out a map, a paper map. And he said, if you ain't willing to go but this little circle, you ain't going to make but a little bit of money. But if you go in a big circle, you'll make a lot more money. If you go in a bigger circle on this map, you'll make more money. The bigger circle you draw, the more money you're going to make. He told me that day, first time I met him, Terry. I jumped up on the table, spread eagle, boy, jumped down that daggone map and tried to wrap that whole map up in my body. I wasn't getting in it to lose it. I was getting in to win it. I wasn't getting in it to get by. I was letting it take over. I wanted freedom, baby. Here's what I want to live for. I got a guy sitting right there. His daddy's from Turkey. I texted him last night. I said, me and my son going hunting over there where your daddy lives. He said, y'all going turkey hunting? I said, no, we're going ibex hunting in Turkey. I saw a turkey this week, but I ain't never been to Turkey. I wanted to travel. And then I was thinking about you, Brandon. The guy sent me an invitation to come to some Beretta ranked facility, wing shooting. I was like, I bet Brandon like that. In Texas. I want to do stuff like that, Terry. That swimming pool, every time I see our swimming pool, Terry, which, you know, my kids don't live at that house anymore. But I think God knows how much of people they told me, Terry, here's what old thinking. You won't never use it, be wasting money. Man, we lived in that thing. Kids lived in it. And when I was out there working, making more money, they had all kinds of friends over there. People said they might drown. They learned how to swim in the swimming pool. They didn't learn how to drown because they was around it all the time. They was around water. Now they ain't scared of water. But I want to tell people, Marcus Richardson is doing a training. If you, so I sure would like to get around Marcus. Well, you should. You got an opportunity coming up. When is it, Marcus? When are you doing that all-day training?
This Saturday. So we're doing it this Saturday. We're doing a boot camp at my office, 2821 South Parker Road. It's from 9 to 1. You talking about that one?
Yeah. It's the one Nick Greco's coming in?
Yeah. Nick, Mike, and Dave Fleming and Dan Hoyt will all be doing the training this Saturday.
All of them are coming in. So 9 to 1. If you anywhere around Denver or anywhere you can pop in on a Southwest airline or Delta, pop your little butt down there on an airplane, get out, and go over to Marcus's office and sit there from 9 to 1, take notes. I want Marcus to come meet. Well, I don't know. Maybe he'll see you in Vegas in a couple of weeks, or maybe he'll see you in Dallas. He's traveling around recruiting. Terry, you got a training coming up pretty soon too, don't you?
Yeah, we're doing a meeting in Charlotte on Tuesday night, December the 5th. Then we're going to Chesapeake, Virginia on December the 20th. Those are the 2 things that we have right now.
So December 5th, you already got a meeting set up.
Yep.
In Charlotte. And then when's the other one?
December the 5th in Charlotte, December the 19th in Charlotte, and December the 20th in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Chesapeake, that's Bob Beach.
That's right.
Virginia Beach.
Yes, sir.
Brandon, you got any coming up in Raleigh?
We don't have anything playing in Raleigh right now.
We need one planned in Raleigh. I promised Vinny you was going to do it.
I'm wide open. Let's do it. I'll schedule it.
Schedule it.
We can pull together. Last time we had one in Raleigh, we pulled together. That was like 60 people, wasn't it?
They had they had to tear the walls out the conference room. It was like 110 people there.
Yeah,
with me, you, and Cats.
I need to run that back.
You ain't said nothing.
Run your calendar back. Of course, you can't get your calendar out, Brandon. We're gonna show them how now works.
Urgency, baby.
December. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. December is here.
Yeah, it is.
I just scheduled a workout for Friday morning. It's December 1. I looked at my calendar. Accountability. Terry, you've been doing those things weekly with Riddle. It's 30 minutes. Just have you noticed how fast a week goes when you got to be accountable to somebody?
Hey,
you remember the people in Amway, Terry, they say, I'm going diamond. I always go, when you going diamond? Because you've been in this business 7 years. You ain't no diamond yet. Same way, when you going to go 10 wide? When you going to get 27 issue paid legs? When you going to give me some statistics? When you going to do 20 appointments in 1 week? When you going to write 30,000? Quit telling me you're going to do it. I want to know how you done did it. Those accountability things are working. We're going to show them how to do right now. And right now we got December. Well, we know that Terry's tied up in Charlotte and Chesapeake. When did you say Terry? Huh?
What date?
Charlotte is December 5. December 5 and December 19. Chesapeake is December 20.
Dude, I'd love to do something on a Saturday again. If you're down for that.
I remember I was 16 years old. They told me I could drive. And Saturday is the 16th. And I've been driving a big red truck that I gave Haley on when she turned 16. You know how when you start hearing something, Marcus, you start thinking 16. You know, you start thinking, I ain't saying it's a great date. Huh?
You planting that seed.
I'm just saying.
Sounds like a little bit of how to win friends and influence people. You're influencing some people here.
I ain't saying it's J. Cole's birthday, but it's Jonas Cole's birthday. I don't know who that is. I don't know if he's in relation to Jay, but it starts with J.
You want to plan on that 16th? Terry?
No, I don't. I was looking for a you, not an I.
I was asking Terry, not you.
Yeah, I think I have something already booked for the 16th, but I might can move it around.
Either that or the.
If you can't do the 16th, 23rd is getting close to Christmas. The 9th is coming up a week. I don't know if y'all could promote it if you only give it a week, but maybe you could. It could take off on a Friday. I think Saturday's better.
Yeah, Saturday.
What does what does the 9th look like for you, Brandon?
Well, I'm good with the 9th. It gives us a week.
And you good with the 16th?
I'm good with 16.
See when how about see when Michael's available? See when Vinny's available. See when Katz is available. Katz loves to come up. Danny Johnson.
Yep.
Danny Katz. Actually, Mike and Nick have people in Raleigh too.
I
Yeah.
might can move some. I might can move. Let me check to see about that 16.
All right, you check and see about that.
All
right, look at here. Marcus, you made $100,000 and then went bankrupt that year. If somebody would explain to you the financial independence engine, so when we get a guy that starts making money, we want to start explaining things to us. This one right here is called the frustration breakthrough. And I'm going to show you how this works. But people get frustrated. I show them how to break through it. This one right here shows you how to manage money and keep from going bankrupt and not pay as many taxes. Or another way we say it is, how would you for the government to supplement the building of your business? The taxpayer, like the government, to help you build your business. Or do you want to give all your money to taxes? This right here helps you do it by talking about savings. And I mean, I don't know if we'd have saved that guy if we'd have got to him with some educational literature, but it is frustrating when you see a person start doing good with us and then they shoot themselves in the foot because of ignorance or just lack of information.
If a man don't know, he just don't know. Self-defeating behaviors.
What's that, Terry?
This is the pandemic in America that ain't nobody talking about. It's the financial illiteracy rate. Each generation is getting financially dumber. Only 26% of millennials are financially literate. 26% of millennials are financially literate. Each generation is getting dumber as it relates to money.
I talked to a nice guy today, Terry. I like him. I hope we recruited him. He didn't know how to calculate an average. I ain't trying to be mean to him, but I explained to him real quickly, and he seemed to get it. But maybe he don't have a reason to calculate an average. Like, what's the average number of appointments you set a week? What's your average income a week? Because, see, here's what people say. I just can't stand commission only because of the fluctuations. Do you understand what average means? If you average in 10 grand a week and it fluctuates between 5 and 15, and then 5 into 15, and the average is 10. What part can't you deal with commission? Because you don't understand what average means. And they go like, well, I don't want to be average. If average is 10 grand a week, you want to be average. See, the definition of words, Terry, average can mean the average number. Every number added up, divided by the number of things it is. It's slowing down enough to educate people on everything, AP. Everything. Helping them. Give them books. That's why I said, remember the time you got on just one of staff guys, Terry? I asked him, I said, you reading every 15 every night? He said, no. I said, you got an option. Andy, you remember what I told you? Lean up here and tell them what I told you. Because they think I don't say this.
He said, start reading or you ain't going to have a job.
Did you hear him? Say that again, AP.
Said, start reading or you're not going to have a job.
Now, I can't tell my son, to start reading. He ain't going to give me a son because I got to love them no matter what because they're my children. But I try to act like they ain't my children, and I need to tell them like it is. Say, look, you need to start reading, you ain't got a job. I start reading, you got to get a job. How about that? That'd be different than AP. I said, you got to get a job. What's going to happen to you? Right now, you working with me. So, but my point is, I can only train a person what the script is so much. The script, like how to book appointment. I can train you, but I need for you to I need you to get smarter overall. It's all these wisecracks I make when I'm interviewing people. A lot of it's stuff that I've read about and I incorporate it into my life, and then I act like I've been there. So I don't mind training you. I don't mind taking you on a ride along. show you how to knock on the door with enthusiasm, show you how to take off my shoes, show you how to get the people to the kitchen table. I can show you all that, but I need them, Terry, to keep getting smarter as a person away from me. Like I'll do this. If I'm going to teach a person a financial engine, I send them the Alliance University course, which might take an hour for them to do. Do the course, then I'll take some time with you with enthusiasm and confidence and cohesion and motivation. I'll light you up with this, but I can't do it all. I need them growing on their own. And what's one last thing, Terry, and I'm going to come back to you. I was at a seminar, and one of the attendees asked the speaker, he asked John Maxwell, said, John, I'm concerned, man. Is now a time to raise kids or not? He said, oh my God, is now a time to raise kids? He said, yeah, well, what's going on in the earth with the shootings and the craziness on social media? He said, it's the greatest time on earth to raise kids. The man said, really? He said, yeah, your kids ain't gonna have no competition. They're going to excel. They're going to win. They're going to rule over them. They're going to own businesses. They're going to travel. People are going to fix the car for them. People are going to have the bed ready when they get there. They're going to have a suite set up with a nice view. Your kids, what a life they're going to live, because everybody else's kids not going to know what your kids know. It's going to be the time of their life. It's the best time. I wish I'd had 6 or 7 of them. I do want 6, 7, 13 grandchildren eventually. It's got to be between the 2 of them. Ooh. But Terry, it's the best time for you kids, man. Lord have mercy. Opportunity abounds for them youngins. Hey, are you hitting it with that Medicare, Terry? I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna do a 180. You hitting it with that Medicare, man? That Med Advantage?
Man, I'm killing it. Hey, I ain't no one-trick pony. I'm killing it with life. I'm killing it with final expense, IULs, annuities, Medicare, Med-Sub, hospital indemnity. I'm recruiting, I'm building, I'm killing it in all phases of the game. But Medicare crazy. What if I told you? See, this I told my my staff this the other day. I said I got to stop caring so much about people. Because if I told people right now, listen, I can show you a way that every time your phone rings, you're going to get a $500 guaranteed commission sale. They'll spend $200 for that course. But then if I tell them they got to build a solid relationship, they ain't going to spend time building a relationship. What I mean, Andy, you talking about Medicare. I got one referral source. She done sent me about 50 clients this year. One of my clients used to go to her establishment, and they said, well, we ain't going to take this carrier no more, so you need to switch him. So I said, okay, I'll switch him. So I switched. And then I said, wait a minute. If he in this situation, she know other people. So I said, ma'am, I'm going to come by your office and introduce myself to you if you're okay with that. She said, sure, come on by. She said, it's COVID. You can't come in. I said, well, you meet me outside in the parking lot. I came by there, met her. The next year, she said, Terry, do you mind if I send you some more clients? I said, listen, I ain't trying to take nobody's business, but these Medicare agents out here, they lazy. They only work 6 weeks out the year. So more than likely, if you tell them to call their agent, agent ain't gonna pick up the phone. So if you run into that problem and they can't get in contact with their agent, you send them to me. She done sent me 50 this year. You want to see something? Don't listen.
Here, you used to be the chief financial officer of a bank.
That's this week, boss.
You used to be the chief financial officer, of a bank, sitting in there with your tie on, kissing up to the man.
I got my blazer on today because before this call, I had to go down there to the local church. Okay? So when you go to the Baptist church, the church. When you go to the Baptist church, you can't go up in there with a polo shirt. So I put my little blazer on today. They had about 40 seniors in a Bible study. So I just walked by there, talked to him a little bit, explained to him what part A, part B, part C, part D is. I walked out of there with 15 permission to contacts. And when I get them in the funnel, these are the same people that got Medicare. They're going to need some final expense. They got investment money that's bouncing up and down like a yo-yo ball in the market. They need some annuities. They got grandchildren that's graduating from college just looking for an opportunity. I'm like this, Andy. I'm looking around for opportunities, baby.
Terry, how many Med Advantage are you gonna sell? How many will you close this year? The
Over
whole year,
100.
2020.
Oh, over
100.
the year?
Yeah, the whole year.
Probably about 200.
All right. Mathematically, if y'all listen, you make an average about $500 a pop if it's new. So if 100 give you 50,000, 200 give you 100,000 upfront money. The next year you'd make 50. Okay. Now, if you're flipping them from one, they had a lazy agent that won't do the right thing. You flip them, you make 250. Got great news. You make 250 the next year. So either you make 500 first year and then 250, or you make 250 and then 250 and 250 and 250. So either way, the second year gonna be the 250. I don't understand these people that are using Medicare only either, Terry. It don't make no sense. They doing it Medicare and ain't moving final expense. You know what it's, Terry? It's like they don't care. It's like they don't give a damn. They don't care about it.
They don't care. Listen. In banking, we used to call it wallet share. We wanted every client of ours to have at least 3 financial products with us. We wanted them to have their checking account, their savings account, and they need a loan, whether it be a car loan, credit card, or a mortgage loan. Because once you get 3 products in somebody's wallet, that means they consider you their primary financial institution. See, we got too many people that just want to be a life insurance agent. They just want to be a Medicare agent. I just want to specialize in IULs. I want to be everything to everybody.
Terry, they don't give a damn. They don't care enough about people. They don't care if they die and their children ain't taken care of. They don't care if they have an accident. They don't care indemnity. They go to the hospital. They won't go to the hospital and I get a check. That give a damn caring goes for only Medicare salespeople, only final expense, only annuities, only IUL. If you could get your give a damn up a little bit higher, if you could get your caring up a little bit. And some of it is this, Marcus and Brandon. Well, you too, Terry, but I'm telling you, finding people that already got them in it. One of my favorite preachers said, he said, we can't put in them what God left out of them. He said, what goes down in the well comes up in the bucket. If it ain't went down in the well, we can't get it up in the bucket. God didn't put it in them. We can't get it out of them. So finding a person with spirit that cares, find them. That's why when I'm interviewing, you see me interviewing Terry, I'm trying to see if they care. I'm trying to see what's in them. Did you make money before you was 13 years old? Of course I did. Did you get married did you buy a house before you 25? I ain't but 23. I go, hold on a second. You got a real shot. I talked to a guy who was 3 for 3 today. Got married before he was 25, bought a house before he was 25, made money before he was 13. I said 3 for 3. Get a good shot right here. If we don't jack it up, so part of it, Marcus, is us not messing it up. I started this call with some people doing stupid stuff that don't work.
Right.
Some people ain't doing the stuff that does work.
Right.
Stop doing the stuff that don't work. Stop doing the stuff that's shooting. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. Stop messing up the things that work. Start doing more of it, and having the discernment to tell which one's which.
That's well said. I heard a guy say the other day, He who has the least bad habits wins the most.
Toes done froze.
And somebody sent me this the other day. It says, it's in the book. They got a lot of other books in it. It's a guy named Timothy. And not the first one, but the second. 2 Timothy 4. The time will come when people will not listen to sound doctrine, but will follow their own desires and will collect from themselves more and more teachers who will tell them what they're itching to hear. We got to start listening to sound doctrine and stop chasing every wind that's telling us what we want to hear. Because sometimes what we want to hear ain't what we need to hear. And I'm trying to get to another level. So tell me, I told Andy Riddle, don't let me be out here in a blind spot and you know it's there and you don't tell me. I'm going to be mad at you.
The time is here that second guy named Timothy said. Look at all these people going to show up. Alex Abian, is he coming to your office, Marcus? Is this a different one? When's that meeting in your office? When's that meeting?
Is the second, this Saturday, December 2nd.
All right. Well, this one's somewhere else. This is Louisville, Kentucky. So the one on 2nd is in December. There's one in Louisville.
We have one
December
tonight too. We got one tonight too, Andy. Gina's in town.
You got one tonight in Denver?
Gina.
Does that start at 7 o'clock?
3 to 5 and then 7 to 9.
3 to 5 and 7 to 9. Is that in your office?
Yes.
Look, all these people going to be in Louisville. Alex, Mike and Noel Leventovich, Mike Guerra, Gina Hawks, Brad Flowers, Amy Bruce from F&G, Jason Spiegel from Corbridge. I like that they put AIG Corbridge. Brandon, we're getting ready to go in overtime. I'm gonna let you wrap this thing up. Me and Terry and Marcus done dominated the screaming, but we're gonna let you have the last say so. The youngest.
Well, something that has been heavy on me lately is a conversation that you and I had the other week, and you kind of just hit on this, but your priorities, right? So like me and you were talking, and I got to thinking about like, what do I do on a daily basis? And so I started writing it down because I was prepared for you. I didn't get to do it, but I was prepared for you. And when I came to you and we sat down and we talked through it, you basically said to me, my question is not if you're working, it's are you working on the highest value return of your time? And so I started thinking about that. And so the way you gracefully put it to me is I'm spending 80% of my time doing stuff that's a lower value than the stuff I'm spending 20% of my time on. And so for you guys out there that are watching this, what I challenge you to do is to write down the different things that you're doing on a daily basis. Get with someone smarter than you and figure out if you're doing the highest value return on your time. And if you're not, make changes. Don't be like Brandon Manley and do the 80% and the 20% backwards. You want to do the 80% up front. And the other thing, here's a couple other things that I've been thinking about is, and I'll give a quick story here too. The urgency in which we got to have with people has got to be, here's the reality. Okay. We got people that get contracted. We got people that sell their first policy. In between these two right here, we lose a lot of people. And a lot of that is because there's not urgency on our end and there's not urgency on their end. So how can we close that gap is what I'm thinking. So like I'll give you guys an example, and this is now sinking in. So when Andy hears this, he's going to be excited. So Andy, last Christmas, on the 25th of Christmas, he calls me at 10 o'clock at night, all fired up about this agent that he was talking to, that's down under me, has his license, hadn't been trained, blah, 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 right? going off about that, and rightfully so. So I get on the phone with this guy the next day. I think it was like 9 or 10 o'clock, ready to do training, ready to get him contracted. Long story short is Andy's like, get him leads, get him out there. So long story short, the guy hadn't gotten his license yet. Okay. So we had to wait on his license, but we had time to do training. So we spent that time, but just take it for what you will. How did Andy get so big? His urgency. He had a guy on the phone on Christmas night figuring out where he's at and why he's not in the field. Like he wants him to be in the field the next day. And then what do most of us think? Well, he's got to get his contracting done, and then we got to wait on those numbers. And then once that happens, then we'll do some training, then we'll do some leads. That's where that gap, we're losing people. So we've got to do a better job of condensing that and find these people. Andy keeps saying this. I don't know if y'all listen to the calls. I forget the third one, but he said, I'm looking for people with ambition and urgency. That's the
focus.
And focus. So that's the things. And then we gotta stay in constant communication with people. I do too. Like Andy, I already got a text from Andy today with 3 communications in it. Communication. So that's like, if you're analyzing your business right now, here's what I'm telling you. Like, these are the things that I would start with. These calls that I'm doing with Andy are very helpful. They're very helpful for me to take that stuff and pass it on to other people that I'm working with. But think about it. What are you spending your time on that is not making you as much? How many conversations? Because these people will call you and take 30 minutes of your time in income producing activity times, and it doesn't move the needle for you. So why are you spending your time there? So analyze your stuff. Let's get our mess together. We are in December. So, essentially we're in December. So we've already started this 2-month trek. I like how Fitz put it on the call one Sunday night when we had those calls. He said, if I've got my car going 150 miles an hour in the next 2 months, you're never going to catch me at the beginning of the year. So if you're one of those that are thinking at the beginning of the year, I'm going to start recruiting. At the beginning of the year, I'm going to start doing this or that. I'm going to start working out. That's always the good one, right? You're going to be behind the 8 ball with a lot of us, because we're already thinking about 2024 right now, and we're doing things. And here's the thing, this business works in cycles. So everything that you do today, you ain't going to see the result of it 30, 60, maybe 90 days down the road. So if you ain't starting today, you are behind the 8 ball. So get after it, review your priorities, and get them straight. That's all I got.
Hell of a job, young man. Thank you, Brandon Manley. Love you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Great job, fellas.
Thank y'all.